Hi, my name is Rachel Sally, and I am a media specialist at a high school in Savannah, Georgia. This short training video will give middle and high school media specialists a few ideas on how to conduct the school library media center orientation and what should be included. Elementary school library media specialists may find this training video helpful and could easily adapt these ideas to their media center as well. Who should receive orientation? Ideally, every student and faculty member should go through orientation. When should you conduct library orientation? You should try and complete library orientation within the first 2 months of the school year. It is imperative that all middle school sixth graders and incoming high school freshmen receive orientation, since more than likely this will be their first time in your media center. Where should orientation take place? Ideally, orientation should take place in the school library media center. However, with the advancement in technology, many media specialists have opted to create orientation videos and share with students and teachers so they can watch it at their own convenience and have them sign off using a Google Doc once completed. You may even opt to do a combination of both by bringing everyone into the media center to watch the orientation video and then give them a tour of the media center. Some media specialists have even conducted a media center orientation by doing a QR code scavenger hunt. This allows students to explore and learn about the Media Center on their own. What should be included in your Media Center orientation? Well, that depends on what you consider of vital importance to the operation and execution of an effective school library media program at your school. However, I will give you a few key components that every orientation should include. You should always begin your orientation with the mission of the school library media program. Why is this important? Your mission statement is important because it explains the purpose of the program and how it can support your stakeholders, such as the students, parents, teachers, and administrators. To help you get started on writing your own mission statement, let's take a look at two well-written mission statements. Before moving on, you may want to take a moment and jot down the above website resources for school librarians. Here you will find several well-written mission statements. Let's take a moment and read the mission statement of Coral Gables High School Library Media Center. You may want to pause the video. This mission statement explains the purpose of the library media program, which is to teach students to be effective users of information and to encourage and prepare students to be lifelong learners. Then it details how the library media program will accomplish this. Now, after reading this mission statement, you will notice that it addresses both the staff and students and how the media specialist can and will support student learning. Next, you may want to introduce yourself as the school library media specialist as well as the media clerk or assistant. You may want to give a little background information about yourself. Share things such as how long you've been a media specialist, maybe your favorite books, or what you like to do in your spare time. You want to create a personable relationship with your patrons. Please note that if you decide to do a Media Center orientation video, be sure to include a picture of yourself and the media clerk so staff and students can easily recognize the Media Center staff. Next, you will need to address the school library media program's policies and procedures. At minimum, your policies and procedures should include library hours of operation, library etiquette, checkout procedures, computer usage, and fees for services. I will briefly address each. Hours of operation. Staff and students will need to know when the library media center opens and closes. It is extremely important to explain to patrons if the media center will be open before and after school as well. Now let's talk a moment about library etiquette and why it is important. Simply put, library etiquette keeps order in the media center, so it is extremely important to review library etiquette with your patrons. Here are a few basic rules for every school library media center. Some of these may not be applicable to your media center, especially with the implementation of Learning Commons. Most Learning Commons now allow eating and drinking. Collaboration is also encouraged in Learning Commons, so speaking quietly and no longer eating or drinking is null and void and isn't applicable. Be sure to post this in the media center where it can be easily seen. It is important that middle and high school students have their IDs and a valid pass when visiting the media center. Usually without these, students won't be able to check out materials. Checkout policies. Your school may have different checkout policies depending on the materials available in your media center. These are a few basic checkout policies that I've come across in secondary schools. While explaining checkout policies, you may want to take a brief moment to review how to find books in the Media Center based on call numbers, prefixes, and book collections. Secondary students should already know how to search for books using Destiny or Destiny Discover. You may also want to briefly review this as well if time permits. Let's move on to technology acceptable use. Since this is the digital age and more students than not have their own devices, it is extremely important to explain to students your school district's technology acceptable use policy. You may find yourself spending the most time on this during orientation. Please ensure that students are made aware of U.S. copyright and fair use laws. You may not be able to address these laws in depth during orientation. However, you may choose to give each student a pamphlet of some sort or a talking paper. When explaining the technology acceptable use policy, be very clear as to what is not acceptable and the consequences of students violating these policies, such as loss of computer privileges for a certain amount of time or indefinitely. As I've stated throughout this video, every media center operates differently. If you'll be charging a fee for any service in the media center, such as photocopying or computer printouts, students should be made aware of this during orientation. Once again, services will vary amongst media centers. This is just a general list. Be sure to address your specific services that you can and will provide to your students during orientation. So let's wrap this up. I've included links to some excellent secondary schools orientation videos. I suggest that you keep your orientation short, simple, and only provide students with the most important need to know information. I hope this short video has jump started you on how you will conduct your upcoming Media Center orientation, as well as some important aspects to share with your students. Good luck.